Okay, time for another Start Kraken game. A deck that I actually like. Let's see what we can do. This guy's name is Loras Tyrell, and he is playing Tyrell, so congrats to being consistent. There's a guy named Lannister, and I swear he never actually plays Lannister. His screen name is just the word Lannister, that's all it is. Tyrell Shadows, so I may have wanted to hard mulligan for the Milk of the Poppy to put on Queen of Thorns. The Shadow Queen of Thorns is the #1 card that will win him the game if he's able to do it. But this is a pretty good setup, so I just kept it. Maybe we'll lose to that, maybe we won't. One thing I saw that was pretty spooky that people were doing is they would use the Shadow Queen of Thorns, so bring Jack and Hagar out of Shadows, and that can like win you the game on the spot depending on the board state. I had one game where I was able to win against that only because the dude played badly and overextended. He literally played out his whole hand and had 0 cards left, and I was able to do a Valar Morghulis that killed every single one of his characters. He had no saves. But if he had like even 1 save or just held maybe a couple cards back, he easily could have won that game. Exactly 8 gold and 5 cards. Excellent setup. Very high. Very efficient. Poor Fellows. Why would you have Poor Fellows in a Shadows deck? That seems bad. Well, we don't have any peace and prosperity stuff. So I guess we're starting with Noble Cause. It's still fine to start with Noble Cause against Summer Harvest. He didn't even do Summer Harvest. That's good. Because it's like an equal amount of gold. You get basically 7 and they get 7. Okay, he can have another Poor Fellows. So I want to give him the Arbor on the first turn? Probably not. Definitely don't want him to have Pinch of Powder, but I don't want him to have the King attachment either. I guess it has to be the King attachment, and I'm just going to hope that you don't have Randall's Harley. The reason I don't like the King attachment is honestly more because of the King of the North rather than because of Randall's Harley. Like if he gets Randall's Harley with the King attachment, I can just play Milk, but there's nothing I can do about the King of the North. That plot just screws me super hard. Alright, I've got the Iron Mines to protect Catelyn, so I feel like I should go ahead and get her in play. Just doing a preemptive assault from the shadows. Yeah, Rose Road trick. It's pretty neat. It's one sort of cool thing you can do with your little shadows agenda. Let's get Dantos to try and ignore military claim. And I have saves, so I should be okay, even if there's funny business, I should be fine for this turn at least. And I'm very safe from Valar Morghulis, Iron Mine, and Jory Castle. So he only has 2 gold at most, 1 card in shadows. Don't think this could be anything scary with only 2 gold. Like maybe a Scheming Septon. Of course, he also has to finish marshalling before we can find out what it is. If he never actually hits pass on his marshalling, then we'll never know what it was. Alright. I think it's probably a scheming septon if he saved 2 gold. Not sure why else he would save gold in that situation. I don't think it could be anything that would allow him to block this military challenge. If it is, I guess he got me. If he's able to defend the military, it's not a big deal. It's just he won't have to kill a guardian caretaker. It's fine. Okay. So he let me win it, but still used his poor fellows and killed them. Alright. Well, it is a pretty bad card, so that's fine, I guess. I'm just going to pass in case it's a scheming septon. He's over reserve because he started with a drop lot, so declaring intrigue is not super useful. I'd rather keep Catelyn around to try and protect my hand from a potential scheming septon attack. I actually might should have let him win that power challenge so he'd have one on his card for me to take next turn. Probably irrelevant though. So it was a scheming septon, I was right about that. This way I guess he's going to win dominance anyways, so he'll still get one on his house card. So it worked out. Oops. Got ahead of myself there. So now his plot I would expect to be trade routes, maybe? He could do Valar Dohaeris, but that would be a really dumb idea. I don't think... If he does that, I'm going to be happy and be like, wow, I used that too early. But it could be trade routes. If it's not trade routes, then I'm not really sure what it will be. Discarded Shrewd Diplomat and Poor Fellows, okay. The Poor Fellows was a card I gave him with exchange, so that's funny. I have some Peace and Prosperity cards, so I'm just going to flip that. Maybe he's going to do the thing where he does Summer Harvest second turn. That'd be funny. Some people will like start with a draw plot and then try to do their Summer Harvest on second turn to like fake you out. Because they're starting with their draw plot assuming that you're going to start with Summer Harvest. Like I recorded a game pretty recently where someone started with Counting Coppers, yeah. Playing Late Summer Feast on the second turn to dodge Summer Harvest. I think I'm going to make him first. Yeah, especially because I have Milk of the Poppy. This way, if he marshals like the Shadow Queen of Thorns or anything else scary, I can milk it. And these Shadow decks pretty much always like to go second in my experience. They almost never want to go first. Does this card work? Yeah, so Shrewd Diplomat actually works with Flea Bottom. Interesting. I never quite considered using that card with Flea Bottom because it seems pretty bad if you have to play it normally. But if you're playing it for 1 gold using Flea Bottom, maybe that makes it better. Seems like more of a card that I might use in like I don't know, Martell with Banner of the Rose, and I'm like bannering in a bunch of flea bottom stuff, maybe. Shame that I can't get any sea bitches. I could make some dank sea bitch plays. Especially if he's going to have flea bottom. Really wish I had sea bitch. It'd be funny. Oh, I have my flea bottom, so I can't steal it. Well, this is what Lordsport Shipwright is for. He's going to take care of that. It's like Frozen Solid, but it's also a character. Saved 8 gold. Wow. Why would he save 8 gold? That's a pretty crazy amount. And he only has 1 card in Shadows. So what can he ambush? Nothing that I really care about. I mean, Hightower Spy, that's like whatever. This could be the Shadow Queen of Thorns in Shadows. That would also be a reason to save a large amount of gold. But if it's her, then I can't do anything about it. And if it's her, there's going to be nothing else in Shadows for her to bring out. So that's also fine. Alright. Still going to save the milk. I've already seen that he has the 6 cost Marjorie. I'm going to save it for a problem character. A real problem character. Peace and Prosperity. So let's get Jojen Reed to see if we can discard a flea bottom target. This guy to stop the opponent's flea bottom. Then we can also marshal, I guess, Arya. Why not? She has a duplicate. That might be overextending into a Valar Dohaeris if I do that. Yeah, I think it is an overextension. I'm going to hold back on that. Hopefully he'll give me some cards with his Late Summer Feast, but it's not likely. He doesn't have any military icons, and it's totally possible that he just won't declare a power challenge. Yeah, I have 0 power on my card, so he actually should not declare a power challenge. I could just chump block it. He wouldn't gain any power, and I would draw a card. So he shouldn't do that. Let's see if some type of trick is going to come out here with that 8 gold. Maybe it's going to be a Shrewd Diplomat. That'd be funny. Nope, he just let me win it. Well, I'm happy with that. $8 gold. I don't understand. He marshaled first. It's not like he saw me marshal a bunch of stuff and then decided to hold back for a reset. It's just bizarre. Well, that's a good card to get. See, like, if he doesn't spend this 8 on something, why didn't he spend it on that? It isn't... It's quite strange. One thing that this could be is it could be the Shadow Varus. But if it's the Shadow Varus, he should know better than to save gold for that, because I have saves. Like, he's not actually going to be able to kill Catelyn that way. Even when she does get a power onto her. Oh, I bet I know what it is. I bet it's Corset Varus. It's regular Varus. That's what it is. That's my guess. That's the only card that makes any type of sense. And that is going to make me sad, but that's what Trade Routes is for. So I actually should have marshaled the Arya if it is the Corset Varus, but whatever. It's also fine to hold back on her for trade routes. Yep. That makes sense. How did I know? It's really weird how I knew what card that was. Catelyn will stay in place, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. He might have marched to the wall. That would be unfortunate. Oh, Jojen Reed's not going to get to stand. That sucks. But I'll have like 5 million flea bottom targets, so whatever. Come on, dude. Hit pass. Oh, I can stand Dantos to save Catelyn. That's funny. Guess I might as well do that. Preserve the bodyguard. I never realized that it was killed or discarded. Handy. So if I play trade routes, I'm guaranteed to have at least 10 gold worth of stuff that I can marshal, including Summer reviving probably Dantos. Then I'm going to draw 2 more cards. I think trade routes make sense. I have a reasonable chance of being able to spend all the gold. It's also tempting to do counting coppers to draw into another flea bottom answer, but that's not really that reliable. So the only other cards that I could draw would be the additional Lordsport shipwrights. There's only 2 of them. It's not really worth going on 2 gold for that. Close call. Okay. So he's just doing that for gold and draw, which tells me he probably doesn't have trade routes in his deck. If he had trade routes, he probably would have played it here. Well, we're going to make him first again. So his strategy is probably going to be based around resets at this point. He's just going to try to reset the board a bunch of times. Hopefully I can get King's Landing and Wyman Manderley. Those are the cards that will really prevent him from ever being able to win that way. But I haven't drawn them yet. If I just don't draw them, then, I don't draw them. I guess Jojen Reed basically gives me draw, so I should revive him. Hi, you marshaled her normally. She's going to get milked. That makes sense, because, this is probably like Jack and Hagar or something in Shadows that he's going to try to bring out, but not going to happen this turn. Wow, I think I have enough money to just marshal everything. So much cash. It's excellent. I low rolled super hard on my draws though. And we still almost were able to spend all our money, even though we drew a 0 cost card as Summer dupe and a 1 cost card, the Milk. Now, do I duplicate Summer? Probably not. So I could like bait an intrigue out of him, and it just puts Summer in the flea bottom pile, which is also totally fine. And I'm still very safe against Valar Morghulis. I don't feel much need to use the dupe for that purpose. Would not expect him to use Valar when I have 3 saves on deck. He's probably trying to figure out if it's even worth it for him to do any challenges. With sitting on only 1 gold, it's not really worth it. There's not much he can do. Since his queen got milked, sort of ruins his turn. Do I even defend this? Guess I might as well. He'll use the Arbor Marketplace to win it probably, but that's fine. Like I said earlier, that is an acceptable outcome. Yep, there it is. Now I would expect him to do Valar Dohaeris as his next plot. So I may have actually wanted to hold the extra copy to marshal back out after the Dohaeris. Come on, this can't be that hard. Okay, yeah. I actually kind of want to kill Summer. Then I can use Close Call. But I'm not going to do it, because counting coppers is still a pretty good plot for next turn. It's not like I'm lacking a good plot choice. So, can always probably do that later on. Obviously, we don't need to do military because he has a flea bottom target to absorb the military claim. So we're going to do intrigue and power. Hopefully Jojen Reeb will reveal something we can afford to draw. It's like if it reveals, you know, Randall Tarley from his deck, I'm probably going to have to pick discard. Another Queen of Thorns, huh? And a Lordsport Shipwright? I'll take that. No flea bottom for you, sir. If it's not Valar Dohaeris, it could be Trey Brouts, but I really think if it was Trey Brouts, yeah, it's Dohaeris. Quite predictable. If he had Trey Brouts, he surely would have played it that last turn. We're going to keep Arya, and it might even be worth it to get rid of Catelyn now that I think about it. She's not doing a whole lot. Yeah, we're probably going to nuke her. She's not actually doing very much, so we're going to keep Arya, Jojen, and Sansa. Like, Sansa is actually claiming more power than Catelyn with the way this game is going. This way, we're still pretty well off. He even put the Queen of Thorns on the bottom of his deck. Well, I did give him another copy of her, so that makes sense. Now he can marshal one out that does not have milk on it. I have the second milk, but that'll have to wait for next turn. He'll be able to actually use the Queen of Thorns this turn, unfortunately. Nothing I can do about that. The stealth makes it pretty much impossible to block her. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get 5 strength on intrigue and power without him being able to stealth past, you know, some of it. I guess I put a bodyguard here. This is a really terrible draw now that I think about it. But I'm also on barely any gold, so it's okay. Hopefully I'll draw a big boy next turn. Wyman would be ideal. I've got one goal for the flea bottom, which will probably be summer. Yeah, summer and bring back Dantos, probably. I'm not too scared of... What is that card called? Jack and Hagar? But it could also be like Renly or Randall Tarley. Those wouldn't be great. If his board gets really big, though, I do still have my Valar Morghulis, which I can flip and kill his stuff. Not too scared of Pinch of Powder either, because my 7-cost character is on the bottom of my deck now anyways. If he wants to bounce a 3-cost character, it's not a big deal. Bouncing Sansa would be slightly annoying since she comes into play now, but still not the end of the world. Wow, so you just didn't put anything in? That makes sense, because this way he's dodging my military claim. That's probably why he did that. So one of these is probably the Shadow Queen of Thorns, probably the one that he just put in with his agenda. So he has no characters on board, no power on his faction card. So we're just going to do Intrigue and pass. Yes, got the king attachment. I don't think there's any reason not to just go ahead and do this. It's like, usually, you know, by default, you hold off on doing something like that for as long as you can, in case something weird happens, but I don't think anything weird is going to happen. Let's just do it. I mean, something weird is going to happen, like he's going to do something on his side, but I can't think of anything that he could possibly do where holding off on the summer flea bottom would matter. I guess I should have waited to do it until after his intrigue challenge. That's probably a reason to wait, because if he gets this Dantos with the 1 and 5 on his intrigue, that'd be pretty unfortunate. But I'd also still rather that he get Dantos than that he get Milk of the Poppy, so you could make an argument either way. He's not doing intrigue yet, but I assume whatever character he brings out of Shadows will do intrigue. That means it's either Renly or Marjorie. Could be Jack and Hagar. Those are my guesses. Neither of these characters will be able to do anything against either of those, so they're just here to chump block. Oh, I messed up. I was supposed to leave him standing to defend intrigue. It is Renly. So now he'll get an unopposed intrigue. Misclick on my part. Now his next plot's probably going to be the King of the North, which really blows. It's like one of my least favorite things, but there's literally nothing you can do about it. You just have to sit there and do nothing for a turn. Oh no, a pinch of powder. That's horrible. That is fairly annoying. Damn, he did get my Dantos. He didn't trigger the pinch of powder? Okay. That's funny. Why would you do that? Now I'm going to discard it. Next turn I'm going to play Confiscation and discard this. I'll take that. Garth the Gross and another Shipwright. Guess I'm going to draw just because I need more cards. He's doing fine on cards. Extra cards is like overkill for him. And me, on the other hand, I'm like very low on stuff to actually spend gold on. Everything in my hand is 2 gold or less. If I really wanted to, I could do Valar Morghulis. So like spite him for playing king in the north, and then he can't have a king either. But it would kill 3 of my guys and leave me with just a Arya with no duplicate, and I still wouldn't be able to trigger any of my locations or anything. So I think I'm just going to wait around. Oh, no king in the north. Wow. Well, that's handy. I think we should still make him first, right? Yeah, since we're confiscating his pinch. You could always have another one, and that would punish me for making him first player. So what's he going to do here? Trade routes, probably? I think it has to be trade routes. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. So this is why we hold off on Valar Morghulis. If he floods too much here, then I'm going to do Valar. Assuming he doesn't also get saves, which would be unfortunate. But nothing I can do about that. The game's going pretty long and pretty slow at this point. Like, I'm at 10 power, but I'm kind of stalled out. I don't have any of my power cards to help me keep collecting more power, really. He might start to quickly catch up on board. And then I would be able to reset my plot deck and Valar Morghulis twice. Plus, I don't think he's revealed Valar Morghulis yet, and I think there's a high chance that he also has it in his plot deck. If he's thinking 2 steps ahead, then he's built a deck that does not have Valar Morghulis and is relying on that core set Varys Shadows trick as a full board reset. That would be pretty dank. But in my experience, these Shadow decks usually have Valar Morghulis, because, like I said, they often have a reset-based game plan. Brings the Arbor out of Shadows. Well, I guess that lets him trigger the Undercity. Still low rolling super hard on my draws. More one gold cards. It's pretty crazy that the only expensive character I've drawn in the whole game, I haven't even drawn Jon Snow, was that 1 copy of Catelyn. I have 10 cards in my deck that cost 6 or more. Damn, so he got 1 save. If these guys don't have saves, then I probably will Valar them, because this is like the other 2 best characters in his deck. And plus, I'm sitting over here not doing much anyways, so I might as well get it out of the way before I draw into one of my expensive characters. Come on, dude. Do something or hit pass. Oh, shoot. I'm supposed to click that. I hit some weird key on my keyboard there. Damn, another save. That blows. That makes Valar not really worth it. Alright, well, we have 2 milks. He has 2 saves. Let's do this. Don't really need Seabish this turn. I guess we can play a bodyguard, because we probably will Valar. I mean, the next two plots we are going to Valar, so. 1 for Flea Bottom. Spend 1 on a limited. 2 on another shipwright. Do we kneel the Arbor Marketplace? Might as well. Basically kneeling a Lordsport shipwright to prevent a 5 strength character from being able to stand. That's still pretty much worth it. I actually do need to Valar next turn now that I look at this, because if I do it as my last plot, it's going to be pinned and I won't be able to do it twice. And it's very possible that I'm going to want to do it twice in rapid succession to go past these dupes. If I'm lucky, then he'll have his Valar Morghulis, which will take care of that because he'll kill his own dudes. But I can't necessarily rely on that. He might not have it. Yeah, so if I know I'm going to Valar next turn, I don't need to worry about military claim. Let's just chump block this. He has a stand. Okay, that's fine. I was probably never going to be able to win a military against him anyways. His board is too big. If he wants to use the Growing Strong on Randall. Kill one of these guys. A pinch of powder? Is that a pinch of powder in Shadows? Maybe. Yes, do it. Send her back to me. That's actually bad for the long term, but if he wants to do it in the short term, it's good. Haha. So Sansa dodges the reset. Yeah, I think I definitely need to Valar Morghulis next turn, or he might just win with this Randall Tarly. He might just go straight to 15. Do not discard my Sansa, please. I will be upset. King's Road, probably the best one he could have gotten. I have way more economy than I need at this point. He's going to win dominance no matter what, and none of these are getting past Renly, so let's just pass. Give me something good. I guess that's good. I mean, his Flea Bottom copy is certainly never going to help him. Totally irrelevant card for him. Maybe it gets me one card closer to drawing something useful. Political disaster. Oh man, that hurts. Wow. Well, let's have Valar first and use the Iron Mines. I think I need the shipwright. Yeah, I need to keep stopping his Flea Bottom. Oh, that was actually a bit of a misplay. What I'm supposed to do is get rid of my Flea Bottom and then start marshaling Sea Bitch to steal his. But oh well. Let's just keep a Great Hall and a Rose Road, I guess. Yeah, I think that's fine. And he's going to keep what? Undercity, Arbor, and Redwine Straits. So that's actually pretty damn strong. Hopefully his last plot is Valar Morghulis. That'd be funny. So we would be in really good shape this turn if he didn't play Political Disaster. That screws us super hard because now we don't have money to pay for anything. We would have had a ton of money. Man, that hurts. Well, how are we going to do this? I think we want... I want to try to Marshal Rob? I can't afford him, so that doesn't matter. This is kind of a dead turn for me. I can't really do a whole lot. I guess I'm just going to do this and then sit around. Yeah, I won't be able to Valar again next turn, so let's just do this. I'm playing under the assumption that his last plot is not Valar Morghulis. If it is, then that was kind of a misplay. But I think I'm in worse shape if it's not Valar Morghulis than if it is. So I'm going to play assuming that it's not. That's like the worst case scenario. Because if he has to Valar himself and kill these guys, he might be in trouble at that point. Okay. Blanks my ship, right? I'm just going to use Sea Bitch. You're still not going to get to use Flea Bottom. Since I have no claim, there's no point in declaring any challenges. I'm just going to defend. If he's like 200 IQ, his last plot is Valar Morghulis, and he's going to use his pinch of powder to send his own character back to his hand. That'd be really smart. Alright. Definitely going to use pinch of powder. But where will it go? Huh. Don't think that bothers me too much. I did use Close Call this game, didn't I? Oh, I guess that's my last plot, okay. See, that worked out. Would work out a lot better if I would ever actually draw King's Landing. Imagine how good it would be if I had King's Landing, like how much different this game would be. But, as usual, don't draw the cards I need when I need them. Because why would I ever be able to do that? It's much more interesting when you, like, don't draw anything good. That's how I feel. It was Valar Morghulis. Okay, so he is not 200 IQ. He's only 100 IQ. He made my entire board die, but he also made his good characters die. There you are, you bugger. This guy's about 5 turns too late. I really needed to have his draw power like way earlier in the game. And I could have done a lot of work. Is Summer dead? Summer has not shown up at all this game, it seems. Okay. We're going to use this to put Arya back into play. Then we can do this. Do I get... I'm not sure what character to get. I guess it should be a dead character. I need to save a gold for Flea Bottom, though. That's actually a problem. So if I get a 3-cost character, I can't actually afford to marshal them. Let's just do this. Yeah, my gold amounts are awkward this turn. The political disaster is still extremely painful. Like, holy crap, that does so much damage. It's hard to overstate how devastating that is. It restricts my options so much, it's ridiculous. Also will make trade routes way less good whenever I eventually replay it. Let's see what he does. All his good characters are dead now except for 6-cost Marjorie. And like his best lords are dead, so even her, she might not be that great. I don't think he ever played close call this game. Don't think I saw a close call out of him. But he might have, now that I think about it. I think he actually did play it and moved like a Poor Fellows into his discard. So he might have it. That would suck. We'll just see what he does. He does have to think about, like, is it worth marshaling anything at all? Because he has to have, he has to worry about military claim. But surely he can just put whatever character he wants into shadows to dodge that. And it's fortunate that he's pinned Valar Morghulis. He can't reuse it. Because in his position, it would make perfect sense to just immediately Valar again. Just not marshal anything and just kill my board again. But he can't do that. Oh man, all these juicy locations. Where is King's Landing and North Remembers? I haven't drawn any North Remembers either. Would have been so good. He put the pinch of powder on his own character. He's just doing that to use the Undercity and Old Town combo. And you can see why this deck would lend itself to a bunch of resets. Because once he gets the Undercity and Old Town combo going, he can just win off of claiming power from Old Town every turn. He can afford to play a very slow game. That's why I really wish I was drawing my North Remembers to deal with that. Also, King's Landing would help me deal with it, because then I could C-bitch Old Town every single turn. On the bright side, him playing a bunch more locations makes it a good trade routes for me whenever I want to do that. Oh goodness, that's the 6 Marjorie. Yep, like I said, I think all my milks have been used. Yeah, they've all been used, so hopefully she won't be that good anyways. Give me that. Shame I can't revive Mira, but I don't have any way to sack a character, so... Looks like a dead turn for him. I appear to have the advantage for the moment. His next plot will probably be Late Summer Feast. We'll see what happens. My plot will also be an economy. It's just a question of do I want to do Peace and Prosperity, Trade Routes, or what is that card called? Noble Cause. Trade Routes will give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's only 2 more than Noble Cause, but it might be enough to be worth it. I think I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna do Peace and Prosperity while I have something to use the discount on. I might not want to put him first because he has that damn, what is that card called? Pinch of Powder. But I think I can stop that with Wyman? I don't know. I'm going to go first just in case that's a problem. Ah, another sea bitch. Thank you. It's glorious. Definitely want Wyman Manderley. Definitely want a bodyguard. Once again, we have a very inconvenient amount of gold. If we Marshal Maester Lewin, we won't have any Flea Bottom gold. But we don't have oh, we can revive Mirror Reed with Flea Bottom off of his side, so we definitely have to save money for that. And Mirror Reed can blank a problem character on his side. With 3 gold, we can afford to Flea Bottom her in, sack something, and then bring her back out of shadows. We can even use her twice if we really want. It's pretty good. Peace and Prosperity worked out to be about the same amount of gold as Noble Cause, because it's 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1, so they both were about 7. It's good. The goal for this turn is to dodge Pinch of Powder, and now that he can't use his Flea Bottom with Shrewd Diplomat, should be able to do that. He does have enough gold that he may just be able to play another Shrewd Diplomat, though. But if he does that, there's nothing I can do about it. Just have to accept it. And boy, this would have been an easy game if I could have got King's Landing. You know you have to pay for that, right? I assume he's going to take away the gold manually in a moment here. If he doesn't, I'm going to be like, what are you doing? What did he draw off the Old Town? Arbor Marketplace. Randall Tarley is dead, but he does have a high guarding quartz here. That's frustrating. Okay, we got some big boys. And that's probably Pinch of Powder that just went into Shadows. Probably blank the high guarding quartz here with Mirror Read. Although he actually didn't marshal the Arbor Marketplace, so... Well, let's go ahead and do what we're going to do. There is also the threat that I can just get to 15 power if he doesn't defend my challenges, so that's also a thing. Damn it. I hate this game. I freaking hate this game, man. Of course something like that would happen. Why would it not? Yeah, he has to defend at this point, even though that's very inefficient to defend 5-5 and lose. But he just has to stop me from claiming any more power. I've racked up so much over the course of the long game. Hopefully there will not be growing strong or anything like that. It's also really unfortunate that I never drew the North Remembers, because the North Remembers would be a really powerful counterplay to that political disaster. If I had played that if I had that and then I play it after his political disaster, he has to like start sacrificing characters or sacrifice his big econ locations. Could have been devastating. Whereas it's not able to be that high of an impact normally because they can just like sack a Rose Road or something. Chooses not to defend the military, even though it's going to put me on 14 power. That's pretty suspicious. If he's doing that thinking that he's going to use a Pinch of Powder, then I've got bad news for him. It's not going to work. Unless he has something else that I don't know about. Because this is Pinch of Powder in Shadows, almost certainly. Looks like he's going to try to do it. But like, that's not going to work, because I'm going to do this. I guess the reasoning is he might as well let me get the military and then declare a power back on me. Because that, like, I think gives the balance of power slightly more towards him. I think if I were him, though, he just needs to try to survive and not let me get to 15. So I would have done the thing that slows down power gain the most. But this way he also steals one off me. I think this actually does make sense for him. Because if he defended the military with Brienne, then I would, yeah, I would still have been at 14 at the end of that challenges phase off of the unopposed. So he actually did do the most efficient thing, rather, even though he didn't get to activate the pinch. All right. I'm at 14 power, so I'm just going to go for the highest gold plot. Try to win. There's a high chance the game won't last into the next round, so we don't need to worry about like using Noble Cause this turn and saving trade routes for next turn. It's been quite a slog of a game, but I think we're going to get there. Somehow we did it. Probably the turning point of this game is when he was forced to flip Valar on himself. I think if he did not have to kill his 5 cost and 7 cost character with his own Valar Morghulis, he'd be way better off. He'd also be in a lot better position if he was if he was 300 IQ and he used Pinch to just bounce his Renly or his Queen of Thorns back to his hand instead of using it to take a dupe off my Arya. I think that would have been the proper decision. Oh, I definitely won because I have this Catelyn, so I can just win in Marshalling phase. There's nothing you can do about it. There you are, you piece of trash. Literally 10 turns too late. So, this was quite a game. I guess I'm going to show it. I'm a little disappointed because I did not get to do the dank North Remembers or King's Landing combos. Still good enough game to show in general. And hopefully for my last game with this deck, I can show off some King's Landing stuff. Some more King's Landing North Remembers. That's really the dank part of the deck. Like, the rest of the deck is pretty typical stuff. The Lordsport Shipwright also really showed its value here. Certainly a worthwhile stand-in for Frozen Solid. He did his job. Oh, man, maybe... So in sometimes my video, the mic cracks and has like these loud noises, and I don't know what they are. I think maybe it's me like scratching the bottom of it with my finger, which is something I just sort of do when I'm like idle. I'm not sure like what to do with my hands. I'm gonna try it right now, and then we'll see if I hear anything on the recording. I just did it like twice. So now if the mic pops in my video, I know why it's been doing that, and I know how to stop it. Come on, finish your marshalling. Let's get this over with. There's a lot that I can complain about this game. I think my draw order was very not ideal, but I did get lucky in the sense that I continuously kept drawing answers for his flea bottom. I think I drew all 3 sea bitches. Yeah, all 3. Even though just 1 would have been enough if I could ever get King's Landing. And I drew the shipwrights. And, like, he's never been able to get any value out of this flea bottom at all. That's another thing that really could have changed the game. Alright, GG. I'm going to pause because I know he has Nightmares in his deck. And, like, maybe he's going to play Nightmares on Catelyn really fast. That still won't be enough because then I could just do it at the start of Challenges phase. Yeah. GG. Good old Wyman Manderley. Man, I like this card. I don't even like feel that bad when the opponent has this card and they beat me with it. Because he draws cards. What's wrong with drawing cards? I love drawing cards. Everyone should draw cards. He doesn't bother me that much. The start cards that bother me is Ward. Ramsay Snow wouldn't bother me if Ward did not exist, but because he combos with Ward, I don't like him. Great John Umber is kind of dumb, but that one's fine, I think. It's really just Ward that bothers me. It's sort of like another version of Crown of Gold, except it only works on cost 4 and below, whereas Crown of Gold can delete basically any character. If you combo it with Blood of the Dragon, it can even kill a bunch of 7 costs that only have 5 strength. But Ward has the additional advantage that not only does it delete one of your guys in a way that there's basically no counterplay, it also gives them an extra character for a turn, and you have to sacrifice another character next turn when they play March to the Wall. So it's about as strong, and it's not deck limit 1. Really don't like that card. But don't need to sit here and listen to me complain anymore. It was a good game. This guy still hadn't left the game. He's like pondering his life right now. He played it pretty well. Eventually, his reset-based strategy screwed him over because he had to reset himself. But if he had played, like I said, with a little bit more awareness and bounced his own Renly back or something, he might have been fine. Anyways, that's the game.